Hello, Opening Pathways viewers. This is Tom LeNoble, and I am so excited. I know I say that frequently, but today I'm more excited than I've ever been. I have Lynn Mitcheson with me today, and Lynn is the designer and owner of NeoWalk, and I just can't wait for you to hear what that's about and how it came about with Lynn. And it's just Lyndsay, it's so exciting to have you with me. And also, viewers, I want you to know Lyndsay is also an Entrepreneur of Excellence winner, and we're going to learn about that as well. So much to talk about. I have this feeling this is one of those that will require part two. But for now, we're going to get started. Lyndsay, welcome to Opening Pathways.
Hello, Tom. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I have been looking forward to it. I'd love for you to tell the viewers a little about you and what you're doing, but most importantly, what sparked your idea to start it?
So, I am a disabled entrepreneur. I didn't start out as an entrepreneur. I started life. Nobody spoke to me about business, really. Nobody, it wasn't encouraged. It wasn't spoken about in school. But I sort of stumbled into it, and you'd pardon the pun, because I've only got one leg. I became disabled. I lost my leg in 2010 because of an MRSA infection. But I try not to let that define who I am. So that's just something that happened to me. I think that's a good way of putting it. But who I am is mum, entrepreneur, sister, daughter, friend, and yeah, it just happens that I'm disabled. But yeah, entrepreneur of excellence. I won. In this game, you get asked to go and enter awards, and sometimes I pick them and say I'd like to enter that one. That was one that I really wanted to enter because it felt like it would be really important, not just for me, but for the business and for the team. It's not just, I don't enter things for me as Lyndsay, I enter things for the business. And we won it. And do you know what? It was so important that to be recognized. And I kind of think, is that shallow to want to be recognized for that kind of thing? But it was really important to us. So I was super proud. National Diversity Award, Entrepreneur of Excellence. They're
I
words
love
I didn't
this.
think that would be with my name.
So, I'm going to add one thing to who you say you are.
Mm,
My life's work and purpose is I'm an inspirator. I
mm,
inspire others to take action to
mm,
reach their goals and dreams. And
mm.
while I want to tell you, you are also someone who inspires people. Your story and what you've done in the result of adversity is extraordinary, and how you're using it for good and what you're doing in the world is amazing. So, share with us before we dive in deeper about NeoWalk.
So Neo Walk came about because after I'd lost my leg, I was super active amputee with a prosthetic. Really, I went for it. I fully committed to. That was the point of losing my leg, was to become a prosthetic user, and I was good. I was really good. And then eventually you start to get a little bit tired. It takes twice as much energy for an amputee like myself to walk as it does for you. Actually, double the energy.
Wow.
So you get tired, you stumble a bit, and you need something to lean on. And I needed a walking stick. And oh God, they were ugly. They were horrible. They were grey. They were flowery. I was only early 40s and they just didn't suit me at all. And I thought I can make something better myself. And making the first walking stick, which is a bit like this one behind me now, I made it in my kitchen. I made it, I heated it up in my oven, in my kitchen oven, and I molded it the handle around a wine bottle. Uh, and yeah, I made my first walking stick, and that was how Neo Walk came about because people commented on my walking stick and said how lovely they thought it was, and that made me feel really good, and the whole thing would like escalate, and I thought I can give that to other people, that feeling that I was getting, and
Yes.
that was how the business came about.
Yeah, viewers, I want you to know that these gorgeous walking sticks can be found everywhere now. And
Mm.
later in the podcast, I'm going to ask Lyndsay to share with us where and a little more about that. But right now, I have more questions, Lyndsay.
Go
You
on.
know, we arrive at the things that we do. You and I have shared some of our life experiences. And what I know to be true is early on in our life, we had someone in it or a role model or someone that influenced us that not only did our journey create the path that we're on, but there was something planted, a seed somewhere. Who was that for you?
I would credit that to my mum and dad, because when I was a kid, they were entrepreneurs. They had a shop. They had a small shop. Um, so we're talking about back in the early 70s, late 60s. I was a 60s baby. So back in the early 70s, that they had a small shop in a village, and my dad used to drive a mobile shop because we were surrounded by lots of small villages out in the moorland and up on the dales. And he used to go around in his mobile shop and go and sell things to the people in these outlying villages. And so I suppose I saw that planted the seed of entrepreneurship, even though it wasn't really talked about. But that's what I saw happening. And we lived above a shop. I thought everybody did, but no, they don't. Not everybody does. So I think watching them do that, watching their struggles that they had, because they did struggle. It was a hard way to make a living. I think that I would credit my mum and dad really.
Wow, I love this. You know, that I often hear that it's mom, dad, or grandmother, or certainly someone who influenced our life that was part of our core in the beginning for most
Mm.
people. I love that
Who
story.
was it for you? Who was
You know,
yours?
I think that I grew up, it's like it's in my book coming out. I literally grew up in a shack. That's what we called it. We didn't have hot water, we didn't have a
Mm.
refrigerator, but we had a lot of love. And but I think the person that really first influenced me in a way that is meaningful to what I do today was my grandmother. She was an extraordinary human being from Germany. She had hair that drug on the floor, and she had been an opera singer, a ballerina from a wealthy, wealthy family. And she and my
Oh,
grandmother moved to the States and immigrated, I think, 1905 or something, and lost everything, literally everything, in the Great Depression. You know, I'm not going to go into detail, but they were
yeah.
doing very well in life, and it changed the trajectory, excuse me. But spending time with her as a young boy, she and I would spend a lot of time alone, and then even through my early teen years when it was a little confusing time, um, was a guiding light for me. And some of the things she shared about her experiences in life that I would have never heard from anybody else. No, other people had much too limited thinking, I think had a huge impact. So thank you for asking me. I want to know about Neo Walk. Did you ever doubt your vision?
It's all the time, all the time. And I think I've been with a bunch of 100 female entrepreneurs this morning, and we were talking about confidence and imposter syndrome and things like that. And I doubted it all the time, because what business did I have running a business? What business did I have thinking that I could, thinking that I hadn't learned about it? And yeah, every day I doubted myself. I still do. I still do. And I don't think that's uncommon. I think I don't know whether it's a female thing. It's probably a more largely female thing. But yeah, even now I do all the time.
Yeah, if somebody was watching now from that knew you back in the early days of your life before all this occurred, what would they think of Lindsay today?
Goodness. I mean, even myself to 15, 20 years ago, I'm just a different person. She wouldn't recognize me. She would not know, she wouldn't realize that she had everything that I've been through. She wouldn't know she had it in her.
I love this. I love
And
it.
I, yeah,
Amazing,
that's
isn't it?
that's the message that I would give back. You know, people say, "Oh, what would you say to your younger self?" I would just say, you cannot imagine a fraction of what you've got inside you, and
It's
that's
so
maybe the
true, isn't it?
benefit of age as well. I think as well.
Yes.
Um,
Life's wisdom, I call it. Life's wisdom.
totally. I started my talk off this morning with a quote that trauma either makes you wise or wounded.
Beautiful.
And it's true, but I mean, I do think that we are a combination of both. And I probably still am today. And you probably start off being more wounded before you actually rise into the realms of learning wisdom from your trauma. But yeah, it's true. And you can choose to be one or the other. You can choose to continue
Yes,
to be the wounded person. It
you
won't get
can.
you anywhere. They
You
won't.
can. I find a lot of people, I speak to people about it often who live in the
Mm.
past, and there are no do-overs.
No.
And if you can learn something, great, but otherwise, hanging out there, as I like to say, you're going to miss the butterfly that flies by,
And all you're going to do is surround yourself with other people who do the same.
who do the same thing because it's you just draw them to you like, like sticky paper. So tell me this from the early days of Neo Walk, what did you learn about trust?
Um, I learned whose ideas to trust. Because in the early days, it was just me. It was just me working on my own, making it up as I went along. And, naturally, you share ideas with people. I'm thinking about doing this, and now I think I might do another shape of handle. I might do this color. I've got this idea for this, this name or this, each sharing ideas. And some people would just completely, can I say, piss on your party?
You
Because some
can.
people, they would. Do you know what? Because it was their idea of a nightmare. It was their idea of, I couldn't do that. But I wasn't asking them if they could do that. I'm saying, I'm thinking about doing this. And yeah, and I've learned, my radar is much better now of whose opinions to trust. I think it's opinions that I had to learn to trust in the early days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me this. I don't know about you, but I've learned that some of my biggest mistakes have led to my biggest successes. Have you ever had a mistake that led to a big success?
I've made several mistakes. I married several of them, Tom. That's another podcast. Um, yeah, my biggest mistakes. Goodness. I've made some really bad financial decisions
Mhm.
that have then taught me to be much, much, much more careful about making financial decisions. I've made
Yes.
some really off the cuff financial decisions and trusted people that I thought were going to do the business good, like third party companies,
Yeah.
and got really stung, really, really stung. So I think probably those mistakes have made me more cautious
Yes.
with spending money and trusting outside companies because they don't always know what you think they know. And
Yeah.
you actually might be better at it yourself than you thought you were. That's what
I
it's
had
taught me.
I had someone on the podcast, and I enjoy her being with her so much and talking with her. And I asked her the trust question, and she said, "Oh, I still trust. I just know to verify now." And I thought that was a great answer of, I haven't stopped trusting. I just verify. I thought it was a great,
Verify.
great,
That's
great,
really good,
great
actually.
way to express it, right? So tell me, what are Lindsay's core values?
Similar to anybody else's. I'm a regular Joe. I value trust. I value loyalty. I value family. And I think I haven't found my counterpart, my opposite, that has had the same values. And again, I married a few of them.
Yes.
Just didn't have the same, you kind of, it's hard. People don't play their cards early, do they?
It's
And I think,
interesting, right?
when I say value trust, I mean, I'm a super truster. I mean, that's my superpower. I think I trust people too much. And when people play their real cards, and you
Yeah.
find out that they're not what you thought they were.
I know it's an interesting thing. I call it often the A to Z of relationship. You know that A to about F is not only the difficult part, but the part where I found myself sitting in a chair staring at the fireplace that isn't on, eating a cracker, and I can feel myself, that feeling that happens where you're falling and you can't do a thing about it. And then there's the about G to L, where things are like, oh my God, how did I ever live without this? And then suddenly around M, things start showing up. And I think that when we get to, the P or the Q of it, we have an opportunity to either with the other person get very, very clear and even redefine what's going on, or we realize that our A to F could have been a little clearer while we were falling off that thing. But love's still a beautiful thing. I'm not dinging love.
No, I'm not love bashing. I
I'm
love
not
love, and
love bashing at all.
I love to see other people in love. I enjoy love. I mean, you can. There's a quote, isn't there? You can enjoy happiness even if it's not yours. I can still enjoy. So
Yes.
my son proposed to his long-term girlfriend a couple of weeks ago. So we're a bit loved up. We're in a bit of a love bubble at the moment.
Yeah.
I can still appreciate it even when it's not mine, even though I've maybe never had what they have, and I don't think I have. But yeah, I do love love.
One of my best friends in life is named Natasha Adamo, excuse me. And I met Natasha after I got out of a very difficult relationship, and she's a relationship coach. She has an amazing book. What I loved about her work is she doesn't focus on the relationship. She focuses on what got you in the relationship, what pattern is happening with you that attracts you into these kinds of a relationship. Because obviously, if you shift that, you've changed what's happening because the relationship is done and over. Um,
Yeah.
or mine was anyway. And powerful, powerful. It reminds me. I have clients that say, "Do coaches have coaches?" And I'm like, "Did dentists fill their own teeth?" Of course, if you don't have a coach that has a coach, you found the wrong coach.
Found the
Tell me
wrong
this.
coat.
Tell me this. Tell me this. I want to know what impact is Lyndsay most proud of personally, not professionally?
Personally, I hope that I've inspired my kids because when I was a lot of my attitude to dealing with my disability, I think I've formed around showing my kids that it doesn't stop you doing anything. And so if I've had an impact on their lives, I would be really proud of that. That's what I would hope the most.
I'm certain you have.
I hope so.
And
I hope so. Well, one of them he works for himself, so he's got the entrepreneurship. He's seen me do that, and he's done it himself. And yeah, I've got an absolutely beautiful daughter who treats people so respectfully. So she's a friend to people, and yeah, I hope that she's possibly seeing
yeah,
a little bit of that in me.
yeah, well, look at who their model was. So let me ask you this. Have you ever said no to growth because it wasn't aligned?
Um, are we talking personal growth or business growth?
Business. Let's stick with the business.
Business growth. I'm actually doing it now. I'm saying no to something that I've got an opportunity for early next year, and it's not the right time. It's just not the right time for the business. I don't say no a lot. It's probably a bad thing. I don't say no very much, and I should probably temper. I should probably temper that and say no more often. But previously, no, I'm very much a yes person. But at the moment, I'm saying no, which is probably that signifies growth for me because I'm in a place where I can recognize and say that isn't good for the business. So yeah, maybe that would be my answer.
Yes. A lot of wisdom right there. Viewers, always be growing,
Yeah,
always be learning,
always,
right?
always.
Always. So
Yeah.
tell me, when things get tense, when things get tough in the business, when things get, even near or at overwhelming, how do you stay grounded and keep going? What is it that you do?
It's really easy. I have an amazing team and they carry me. I have an absolutely amazing team. We're only small. The majority of the team are family. So I've got my daughter, I've got my sister, I've got my son works in as well. And whoever isn't family feels like family and they carry me. And I let them, I trust them enough that
Yeah,
I just let them. They keep me from things that will do me harm, either physically or mentally, because have been some really, really bad challenges. They keep me from it. They don't let me wallow in it, which I possibly would.
yeah,
Would I? I would get really angry. I just know I would get really angry with some of the stuff that, especially on social media. So yeah, my team is everything to me.
yeah.
That's how I get through bad times, and I listen to them.
I
If
call
there's
this, go ahead.
no, but if there's a point that I need to discuss or brainstorm, I do it with them. Right from, everybody's involved, and I value their opinions. So that's an easy
Yeah.
one.
I would be nothing without my team.
Yeah,
I'm small, I got a small team too, but they are um just amazing. I call this the energy of support.
yeah,
There's a number of energies we use in life of time, enjoyment, relationship, and there are others, but one of them to me is the energy of support and how we use it. And I think part of that is realizing how we support others and allowing ourselves to be supported. When that gets out of balance, things shift a little, and whatever you want to call it, universe, God, love, whatever you attach that name to it, is, I think, likes when we have some balance in the
mm,
giving and taking of life, we'll call it.
mm.
Um, so,
That's the key, though, isn't it? It's accepting the support as well, because we're often very good at supporting other people. I can help you through your trauma and your bad times, and I'm a shoulder, I'm on the end of a phone, but do you allow that for yourself? And I know several people that don't, and they
yes,
should. They should.
I'm guilty. I'm a
Is it
big
you? But then I know another one now, don't I? It's you.
Yes, yes, I'm guilty. And in fact, right now, with the launch of this book I'm doing, I have people that I have supported from nonprofits that I support to other just individuals that have come and said, please, I really want to help. I really want to support you. And I have been just open to it because it's really what it's about. I have to practice what I teach, right? If that's part of this journey is if we're going to teach concepts and things to people, especially in the work that we're doing, we have to live it, practice it, and as they say, walk our talk. So tell me this,
Yeah.
what is your boldest vision for Neo Walk in the next 5 years?
5 years. Goodness. I'll be well into my 60s by then. Um, my boldest vision is to be synonymous with the word walking stick. So when people hear walking stick, they don't think of anything else. Like when you have a vacuum, you think of Hoover. I want Neo Walk to be the walking stick that people just say, "Oh yeah, it's one of them." That's what I want, and it's bold. It may not happen. It's
Well,
kind of happened a little bit already, But yeah, that would be my
Yes.
dream. Yeah.
I love you stating it. We put it out there. If we can stay out of the way of timing and what it looks like, I happen to believe it has no choice but to come to us. It's been proven to me many times. The hard part is staying out of the way, without a doubt. So tell me this, what shifts are going on in our culture today in the world that light you up, that you're excited about?
More inclusion. I just see because I'm in a minority group. Just personally, I'm a disabled woman. I'm in a minority group. I like to see more inclusion, which I believe has actually come a long way because people have stood up for their rights and they've stood up and they want to be seen. They're demanding to be heard. So that's one shift that I do very much love because you know it involves me. It's yeah. What do you like? What's your
What's
shift?
lighting me up right now
Yeah.
is I think in our culture today is with all the madness that's going on to divide us, as
Mm,
I talk to people outside of that noise,
mm,
literally 98% of them are speaking some word about unity or inclusion.
yeah.
And this just excites me beyond words because I just think it's such an opportunity right now. And I love that the undercurrent is inclusivity and unity, even with the noise that's happening. So
Yeah.
that's what does it for me. Thank you for asking. So
Mhm.
tell me, Lyndsay, what hope do you have for the world right now?
Goodness, for that to continue because it could so easily with the powers that be it could so easily go the other way. So my real hope for the world is that continues and that we continue to foster acceptance, inclusivity, tolerance, just cross those cultural divides. I think it's so important. That's what I want. I want it all that to continue.
I have people that are watching this that will be looking at starting something new, going out on a passion they have, maybe creating something in their kitchen in the oven. Who knows what it might be? But if you were to give just a few words of wisdom or advice to someone starting out on a path, what would it be?
I would say have your dream, nurture it in your head with positive thoughts, do your research. A lot of work goes into a project before it actually starts, before it becomes a product. If you're thinking about a product or a service, a lot of work goes into it beforehand. But keep that dream. Don't let anybody take it from you. Don't share it with people that you don't think are going to support you. You'll learn who you need to surround yourself with to make your dream real and bloody go for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely go for it because if you're at a place in your life where you've got the opportunity to do it, that opportunity might not come again. Look
Well,
at me, my life changed and my opportunity, I mean, I've made the most of it, but
yes. I'll say that a little differently. Look at you. Yes, look at you is the answer. And without a doubt,
I love it.
one final question.
Go on.
If your younger self were watching this podcast,
Mm.
what would you say to her?
How young is she? How young is she? Is she a teenager? Is she 20 years younger? Because I'd probably say at different stages of my life, I've needed different types of push. Um, I would say to the teenage me, look outside the box for what your job, your occupation, your career, your vocation. Look outside the box. If you can see someone who's got a dream job, somebody's doing that job and it could be you. So I would say to my teenage self, to my 20-year-old self, I would say, holy hell, don't marry him. And holy hell, you have need some confidence. Actually just dig in and find some confidence. Yeah. And to my slightly younger self of 2 years ago, I would say, bloody well done. Absolutely. You came through a big trauma, pat yourself on the back
Excellent.
and get your big girl pants on and carry on. Yeah.
I love this. Lynn Mitcheson, Neo Walk. You are a delight. You inspire me. You inspire others. I definitely want us to do a part two. In fact, I keep hearing that voice saying, Tom, do a series with Lyndsay, do something where there's more to it. So, Lyndsay, I'm so thrilled you've been with us today. And please tell the viewers a little bit about Neo Walk and how they can find you.
So this has been amazing, by the way. The questions that you've asked me are just so insightful and so interesting to think about. And I'm going to go away and keep thinking about them. But yeah, Neo Walk, we're in the UK. You can find us on at neo-walk.com. You can contact us there. You can email us. You can have a look at everything we make. There's loads of blogs that I've written about my disabled journey from years and years ago right up to now. Yeah, just please join our community as well. Neo Walk Sticks on Instagram, and there's lots of love and support and loads of other people out there that are probably thinking the same thing as you. But yeah, come join us.
Thank you. Thank you, Lyndsay. I'm so
Thank,
grateful you were here today.
thank you.
And to my viewers, this is Opening Pathways with Tom LeNoble, and I'll see you next time.